If you're wanting to get started in Shopify dropshipping today, or you're already running your own e-commerce business, you might have heard that Facebook right now is making it a little bit tougher for all of us with iOS changes or delayed attribution or business account shutdowns. So what I'm going to do in this video is going to go through every single thing that you need to know, how you can be best prepared, and also understand how Facebook works to really improve and enhance the chances that you can have of success while using this platform. Because let's be honest, guys, Facebook, it's not going anywhere. And it's one of the best advertising platforms in the world, and we really can't sleep on it. So sit back, relax, and I'm going to go through everything step by step for you. I'm going to also add timestamps down below because this one might be a little bit deep, and I want you to watch it a couple times over because it's going to be your reference for getting started in Shopify dropshipping with Facebook and how you can really navigate through this crazy ad platform. So let's get into it, guys. Okay, guys, so I'm in my computer right now, and the first step is literally to go on to business.facebook.com. Now, one thing I should mention is you need to have a Facebook account to create a Facebook ad account and business manager. So make sure that best rule of thumb, right, is to make sure that your Facebook profile, your personal one, is not only has a display picture, but it's also the Facebook profile that you use for everyday kind of use, right? Because what Facebook has actually found was, people just churn out accounts all the time. Unfortunately, with e-commerce, a lot of people just create fake accounts and, create another business manager to kind of breach the advertising terms of service, and it kind of makes it tough for people like us who are trying to get their own business started or have their own business because the rules are a little bit stricter, and Facebook just shuts down these accounts. So you really want to make sure that you're using your own personal Facebook account. You really want to make sure that you're using it every single day. Okay, so that's going to extend and improve your chances of success with this. So what you want to do is, once you go to business.facebook.com, you want to go in. You should be logged in right now, and you just want to hit create account. Just go follow the prompts. It doesn't matter what you name your business. Technically, it should be your business, like your Shopify name or your brand name, and just make sure that's all clear, and also use that email because you're going to need that to verify the account. Okay, so just follow through with this, and I'm going to go through and show you through everything else. So I also want to stress another thing that in 2021, with Facebook, it's kind of I've been seeing it come out to be more of a problem. And this wasn't a problem that we had to deal with back in 2017, 2018 when we were running ads on Facebook. Now, what that problem is Facebook is banning a lot of accounts. Even if you're not breaching any of the terms of service, there's a high chance that Facebook might actually just ban you or your account incorrectly. Because the truth of the matter is, Facebook, when they're reviewing ads and doing all these kinds of things, it's generally Facebook bots. It's just computers that are kind of crawling through our pages, our ads, making sure that everything's good. But the chances of you getting banned, or an ad account getting disabled, or your advertising rights getting taken away from you is quite high. And it's sad to say, but it's the truth. So what I generally like to recommend is, if you're an individual and you're just trying to get started, what I will go ahead and say is, go out into your local government, wherever you're from. If you're from the US, try to get an EIN for a sole proprietor. Or if you're from Australia, try to get an ABN to try to show that you are actually legitimately running a business, and the brand that you're running ads for is operating out of that business legal entity. Because what happens, guys, is when you get banned for whatever reason, generally the first point of call is Facebook asks you to verify your identity and verify your business. So the verification of identity is super simple. You just upload a passport or any kind of government issued ID. But when it comes to verifying your business, and this can be quite crippling, if you don't have this documentation and you don't have that verification, Facebook can really make it a little bit harder for you. So go out, and if you don't want to start with like an LLC or a corporation or like a corporate entity, if that's a bit too costly, that's fine. Like I said, go back and get your individual tax filing, your business registration number as a sole proprietor, and use that as evidence to really kind of safeguard your account. because the truth of the matter is Facebook is just, I've said it again and I'll keep saying it. Facebook is, in 2020, it was crazy. There was so many ad accounts getting banned. Even my personal advertising access got banned just because of nothing, and I couldn't get it back. So I had to start using other means of, making sure that my ad account platform, my structure is solidified, and if that happens again, I'll be okay. But we can talk about that in another video, guys, but I just wanted to stress that right before we kind of jump into it. Okay guys, so we are in my personal ad account now, and I've just blurred out a few things just to keep my businesses kind of off the grid. Maybe I can reveal them one day, but for now I won't. What you want to do is you want to go to business settings, because what we're going to be doing is going to set up your ad account, your page, your account page, and also your Facebook ad pixel. We are also then going to be adding and verifying your Facebook, your domain, right, with Facebook, because with the whole iOS 14 changes, this is super important as Apple starts to roll out, all the changes about iOS 14 and how that's going to change our advertising, how we do advertising. Okay, so we're going to be doing that, and then we're also going to be configuring our priorities when it comes to web events that come through our pixel. Now, if it all kind of sounds a little bit crazy, don't be too worried. I'm going to explain it as we get to it, and there'll be timestamps down below. Okay, so let's just jump into it. So once you're in the business settings section, what you want to be doing is you want to go down to your pages. So under accounts, hit pages, right? Just hit add. And if you've already got your business page there, great. But if you haven't, you just want to go hit create page. Just go to something like, you can do any of these, but like, let's say for example, new store, like Popper's store. Right, and I'm just going to create a new page, and that's where all the advertising is going to be run from. Now, once the page is there, what you want to be doing is go down to the next section, which is ad accounts, and we want to go and create one. So I've already created one account here for you, a testing account that I'll be running you through this with, and but for you guys, you just hit add again and then create new ad account. I've already used up all of my ad accounts on this, and initially when you get started, guys, you're only going to have one ad account that opens up. The reason why that happens is because remember how before I was talking about how Facebook wants to limit the potential of people kind of circumventing or taking advantage of their system. That's the reason, right? So once you start spending some money on Facebook, you start developing that relationship with Facebook and tell them, hey, look, I'm a legitimate business. I'm here to do, good business, provide value for people, and let's just work in partnership together. Once you're showing Facebook that, they're going to be able to show you and allow you to open up more ad accounts. Now, the way you do that and the way you check that, right, just really quickly, is going into your business information section right here, business info, right at the bottom. And you can see here, it's going to give you all of your information about your business, and you want to go down to add account creation limit. Yours will be 1, and it can go all the way up to, depending on how complex and how deep of a relationship you build with Facebook, it can actually go up to about 20 ad accounts. So in this particular business manager, I've only opened up 3, right? Because I actually have different business managers and I share and link and all these kinds of things, but regardless, we'll go through that in another time. Okay, so once you've got your business page done, your ad accounts done, now the next thing you want to set up is your pixel. Okay, so you want to go to data sources and hit pixel. Okay, now here again, same thing. I've already created a pixel for you just to show you guys, but I'm gonna show you again. Hit add at the top, and you can call it Popper's pixel. Okay, you don't need to put in your website, but I think that's going to be relevant for later. So if you can, just do it, and it's going to work. And once that's done, awesome. Now you don't need to do anything really right here, but what we want to do now is go down to your domains, right, under business safety. Okay, so what I've thought before, unless I refresh it, because Facebook is a little bit clunky, guys, despite being so good. Okay, so it's not here. So what you want to do here, guys, when you've purchased your domain, right, for your Shopify store, you want to hit add, and you want to type in your domain name. Okay, so I'm going to use poppers.com. All right, add domain, and then you're going to see this open up, And what we're going to do in a bit is I'm going to show you how to verify that exactly in your Shopify store. Okay guys, so what we need to do now that we've created your page, your ad account, your pixel, and also we've added your domain, now we need to kind of link them all together. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do that. What you need to be doing is going to data sources, go to pixel, right? Highlight your pixel, and then what you want to do is you want to go to the connected adsets, or the assets, sorry. Connected assets, and what you're going to see all of your ad accounts here, and you just want to highlight the ad account that you're using, right? And hit add. Okay, assets added. One ad account has been added to the pixel, Papa's pixel. Great, that's good. Now the next thing that you want to do is you want to go ahead and you want to go to domains. Okay guys, so the reason why having your web domain or your shop's domain verified is because with the whole Apple iOS 14 update is making our job as Facebook advertiser a little bit difficult. Okay, now the reason why it is because Apple doesn't want Facebook to be able to openly track their users' data through their iOS software. So what we need to do, they've put in a few software and like security measures. So what we need to do is make sure that on our side, our website, our domain is all like squeaky clean, and we want to make sure that everything's good over here. And it also opens up, the second reason is it also opens up the ability for us to set web optimizations for the pixel events. Now what that means is, and I'm going to show you in a little bit, is because with the iOS 14, if someone opts out to be tracked on Facebook while using their iPhone, right? If that happens, then Facebook is only able to allow or to collect one pixel event. Now, if you know anything about Facebook advertising, that is super detrimental. It's such a big problem for us because before, what happens is we were able to see every single event, whether how much it cost for us to, for a page view, for a content view, for an add to cart. What was the percentage of people that when they saw our ad, did they go through to our landing page, what kind of CPMs or all that kinds of stuff. So we were able to see everything, right? But with this iOS 14 update, it's not so easy. So that's why it's so important that you go ahead and verify it. I'm going to show you exactly how to do it right now. There are 3 ways to do it. Now there's the meta tag verification, HTML file upload, and then the DNS verification. Now the simplest way of doing it, honestly, is using the meta tag verification. And if this doesn't work, then you can go ahead and try the second easiest tag or the option, which is the DNS verification. So I'm going to show you guys right now. I'm going to open up a Shopify store. Okay guys, so I'm just in the dummy store right now, and I'm going to show you guys exactly how you can update that meta tag. So what you want to do is go to your online store, all right, and it's going to open up your themes. Now under themes, it's going to show edit code, right? That's what you want. Go edit code. Then what you want to do is you want to hit this theme.liquid. Okay, so it's theme.liquid, and then after that you're going to see right here, all of this code. It's all this mumbo jumbo, but you're going to see this head thing, right? So you can go Control F and type in head, and then you want to find the first event. Okay, so go all the way to the top, and what we're going to do is we're going to see this one right here. So now from the ad account, you want to go ahead and copy this metadata, right? Just click it and it says copy to clipboard. Okay, awesome. Now what we want to do is go ahead and go back. Just enter space after this little right hand arrow, and then hit Control V or Command V to copy it. Okay, so there we go, and hit save. All right, awesome. Now asset is saved. Now we want to go back to our business manager and we're going to verify it. Okay, so now that we're in here, what we want to do is just refresh the page, and then we want to hit verify. Now if everything was done correctly, this red dot, it should be showing that it's green, and I'll show you an example that here, it's all verified, it's all done, and this is one of my other ad accounts, or domains, sorry, but you just want to see that green button, and then you're good. It's a little bit more complicated than what we walked through just then, but don't worry. I'm gonna, I went out and purchased 2 different domains, and I'm gonna show you exactly how to do it. We're back in the business settings right now. Go to brand safety, domain, same place, right? And what you want to do is hit this DNS verification. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to actually go to where the domains, your domain is held, so whichever service provider you purchased from. And I'm going to give you guys 2 examples, one through GoDaddy and one through Namecheap. Okay, so we'll do the GoDaddy one first, and what we want to do is go and copy this, right? Then let's go and hit, so we're in GoDaddy right now, and I've just blurred a few things just to, just keep everything kind of semi-private, but you can see here, so you go down to the bottom, right? Go into domains, my domains, and click on your domain. This is the profile, okay? So once you're here, you want to go to manage DNS, something like advanced DNS settings or manage DNS, and it's all going to be there. Now, what we want to do at this point is to follow the instructions that Facebook gives us. So if we go back here, it says log in to the domain register and visit the DNS record section, which is what we got. Add this text record in your DNS configuration. Add the @ in the host field, and that's it. So let's go back. So we're going to hit add. Okay, now in this type, we want the txt text file. Now the host, they said put the @ file, and then this is the txt value. Okay, so we just want to go ahead and control V that, right? And then hit save. Now once that's done, you can actually go back, and you're gonna have to give it a few, but pretty much we're just gonna wait, and we're gonna wait for the DNS to be updated. Sometimes it takes nearly an hour, but it definitely will work. Let's just try to refresh this. The photogens, and whoops, there we go. So you've hit that, and your domain is now verified. Don't be like me and try to verify using the meta tag. Go into here, and then once you're done, once you've seen that, just do a hard refresh. So I just hit Control Shift and R, right? And you can see here that there's the green button right there. Okay, awesome. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you, so that was GoDaddy. Now I'm going to show you how to do it through Namecheap. So here's another domain that I just went out and purchased. Same thing again, guys. I'm going to go ahead and copy this. Now I'm back over here, and I've gone into the advanced DNS, as I mentioned. So it's either advanced DNS settings, or just have a look for DNS settings or advanced DNS. So we're here right now, and we're going to do the exact same. So we're going to hit this add new record button right now. Okay, txt record, host is @ and then the value, same thing, Control V, automatic is fine, and then just hit this tick. Once you get that tick and everything's fine on this side, now what we want to do is we want to go back. Okay, so once we're back here, just go ahead and do a hard reset of Facebook, because Facebook is a little bit buggy. Hit the DNS verification, and then just hit this button here. There you go. So it now says Small Dogs is verified, which is awesome. And then just do a hard refresh again, because Facebook is buggy. And there you go, guys. That's exactly how you do it. Now we'll move on to the next part. Okay, so now after that, what you want to be doing is you want to go into your pixel. So go to your pixel. Okay, so we're going to go to your pixel. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to go and open Events Manager. All right, so we're going to hit that. So what you want to do is you want to connect this to your Shopify store. So the easiest way to do that is, once you're in here, guys, is to use a partner integration, right? So just hit user partner integration, go Shopify. Okay, and they're going to give you all these instructions. Log into the Shopify account and follow the instructions to set up your thing. So it's going to open up all of this. Now what we want to do is you need to go into your Shopify store, and we're going to install the Facebook pixel. Okay guys, so we are in our Facebook, our Shopify account right now, and what we wanted to go and do is hit apps, right? Come over into this app window, and then we want to hit the visit the Shopify App Store. Okay, so we want to hit that. So once you're in the App Store, right, what you need to go and do, you need to go and search Facebook. Okay, so we want to go ahead and do this one, Facebook channel, add the app, great. Okay, now we are good. Now what we want to do is we want to go ahead and follow the prompts And what we're going to need to do is Facebook marketing, create free paid, start setup. Okay, so what we want to do here is you need to connect your Facebook account first. So I'm going to connect it right now. Okay guys, so once you're connected and you've seen, you're going to see this, your business manager, just go ahead and hit connect. Now on the ad account, what you want to go ahead and do is go ahead and add the ad account that you've created in the previous step. Okay, so go hit connect. And you're going to have to go through and you're going to read all of this, right? Hit accept, all this mumbo jumbo. You can read it, you should read it, but you know, most people don't, so yeah. So go ahead and do that, and then you're going to go back and you're going to hit done. Now what we need to do is we need to add payment details, and we will do that right now. But what we want to do is go ahead, also connect your Facebook page. Okay, so there we go, Facebook page, done. Now usually with this, guys, what you want to do is with the data sharing, you know, you can leave it on enhanced, but I generally just go maximum because, you know, why not? It just allows you to get, you know, as much data as possible and just allows Facebook to do its thing. And I prefer to give Facebook as much, you know, ammunition as possible so that it can do its job in its right way. Okay, so hit confirm, just let it work in a bit. All right, awesome. So now it's going to ask you where you're going to do your targeting. This isn't really that important because we're going to be running our ads from our Facebook ad account, right? So but this through this module you're actually able to create and manage some ads here, but I prefer not to do that. I like to keep it all kind of a bit holistic, and we want to kind of keep it all on the business manager and ad manager, because it just allows you to see things in a better way, in a more transparent way. So just for the sake of, you know, setting it up, let's just go United States and then hit add, and then you're good. All right, so at this point you're pretty much done. I just need to go ahead and add some payment details, so I'll go ahead and do that right now. Okay, so now that I've added a payment, you know, method, what we're going to do is hit finish setup. Good there. All right, awesome. So now we're done. Okay, so the pixel is connected, the page is connected, and also your ad account is connected. Your web domain, your shop domain should be verified at this point as well. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our events manager, right? So we're going to hit, I've completed the setup on Shopify. Okay, great. You're just going to need to go through and, you know, just make sure that there's some traffic that goes through. Send test traffic. You know, I'm just going to use Google for the sake of it. And we're going to see some activity. What Facebook just wants to do is just to see that your pixel is actually firing. So the way a pixel works is it's a string of code, right? Similar to the meta tag that we added in the past. What happens is when your page loads, right, the pixel is fired, right, and it sends data back to Facebook. Okay guys, so what you want to do is you want to throw in your domain right here, right? And it's going to open up a new tab. Now make sure, it's really important that you make sure that the your ad blocker is actually temporarily disconnected just for this this section, because the ad blocker does prevent that pixel to be fired. So just go ahead and do that. Send the test traffic and then come back here, and you're gonna, everything's gonna be good. The next page is going to be confirmation. Just confirm it and then you'll be okay. So now guys, now that we have connected our pixel, we've verified the pixel, we've also verified the domain. Now what we want to go ahead and do is I'm going to show you with one of my ad accounts, my own pixels, how to set up your web optimized events. So here we go. So this is one of our pixels here. Now once your pixel is all kind of set up and all done, you're going to go ahead and you're going to see that aggregated event measurement, right? So this button here, now you want to hit configure web events. Okay guys, so after you've clicked on that, you're going to see a page like this, and what we want to go ahead and do is we want to go ahead and hit this manage events button. So hit this, edit. Okay, so with this, right, I was mentioning before, with this iOS 14 update, what happens is if the user, right, has actually gone ahead and told Facebook or told Apple, hey, look, Facebook, I don't want you to track what I'm doing on the app, okay? So what happens there is if they've done that, right, and they've actually seen your ad and they click on that ad, go to your web page, right, they go ahead and they go to, you know, they like your product, they go ahead and add to cart and then initiate checkout, but they don't actually go ahead and purchase. Now what happens is in this page, what we're doing is setting a prioritization for these events, right? So depending on the prioritized event actions or the event Facebook is going to take the highest priority and we're going to take it back and send it back to us on the ads manager. Now, it's not ideal, but it is something, guys. So this prioritization is super, super important, because what we want to do is, and the prioritization should always be, purchase, add payment information, initiate checkout, add to cart, then view content. Anything after that, guys, it's not really that important, unless you're doing like lead gen or whatnot, and then that lead gen would change the prioritization. But for e-commerce, you kind of want to follow that. So once you've done that, you just want to hit submit, and then it's going to take 72 hours. So if you're not able to see that order, right, you're not able to see your purchase, you're not able to see, your initiate checkouts or your add payment information or your add to carts. The reason for that, guys, is because your pixel actually hasn't had those events fire before. So if you're just starting out and you don't see those, that's totally fine. What you want to do is the prioritization, the highest priority should be view content and maybe page view, considering that those events have been fired too. Now, when you go ahead and get a purchase on your pixel, what you want to go ahead and do is you come back here and change that prioritization to what I said it should be. So purchase, add payment information, initiate checkout, add to cart, and then view content. And then anything after that doesn't really matter. So you can actually have 8 configured events here. Now, one thing I should say is that if you want to go ahead and do value optimization. So value optimization is another thing, and it allows Facebook to kind of select and help you find the most valuable audiences out there, right? It's going to collect as much data as possible, and it's going to really help the Facebook pixel when you're running ads to find out who's the most value for your buck, who's the most efficient customer that they can grab. Now, for me, I'm just testing it right now, but initially you can just have it turned off. You don't really need to worry about that. That's really kind of complex, and we don't really need to look at it right now. So now, once all of that is set up, you are now ready to go into the Facebook ad module and kind of have a look and play around with it. And I'll help you set that up as well. Okay, guys, I know that I told you that, we can go into the ad manager and kind of play around with the ads, but I really wanted to kind of spend a second here and talk about a few things that are super, super important, and a lot of people just don't talk about it. And it's becoming more important in today's day and age, with Facebook being all crazy, and ad accounts being banned left, right, and center, business managers being banned, and Facebook just being overall becoming more expensive. Now, through understanding the Facebook auction, right, you're going to be able to find out how you can really use Facebook. When I say use Facebook, I mean literally use it, because Facebook is a tool, guys. Facebook's ad manager is a tool. So if we understand how the system has been built and how the algorithm works, we're going to have a higher chance of succeeding on the platform, getting purchases and customers for cheaper, and overall spend less on Facebook for more return. Okay, so that's what we really, really want. So I'm going to link this PDF in the description down below, but pretty much what happened, Facebook released this a few years ago, and they pretty much just talk about what is the Facebook auction, what kind of goes into it, how it kind of works, and all that kinds of good stuff, right? So I'll let you read that in your own time, but just understand that Facebook is an auction system, right? So because there's like millions of advertisers out there, all bidding for similar customers on the platform. So how does Facebook kind of determine where you kind of sit in the bid? Like, what's your bid? And no one ever talks about that, right? So what I want to kind of show you is this. Facebook's auction, Facebook's algorithm kind of works off a total value system, right? And what goes into that value is right here on the page. It's our advertiser's bid, and that's multiplied by the estimated action rate, right? And then it adds the user value that Facebook kind of anticipates they will get from your ad. So right above here, this is kind of a quick rundown, right? And super, super important to really get this. So the advertiser's bid is something like, you can have auto bid and you can have manual bid. You can set like how much you're willing to spend in order to get a certain customer, right? So that's not that important in my honest opinion. You can play around with manual bid and all that kinds of stuff, but seriously, you can build a 7-figure business just by using auto bid. That's fine. But what's so important is the second, estimated action rate, which is the probability that showing an ad to a person will lead to the desired result. So what this means, guys, is when we're going to go into it a little bit later, when you're in the Facebook ad platform, right? When you're just going to set up the campaign, you can actually set up an optimization. Like, what's the goal of that ad? What's the goal of that campaign? And generally, for most e-commerce companies, we kind of want to go for purchase conversion campaign, because ultimately, if purchases aren't coming in, then we're not too happy. Okay, we're not getting a return on our investment, and that's why, right? So the estimated action rate is how likely does Facebook deem that user to actually go through your funnel, your ad, going through to your page, and then actually going ahead and taking the action that you want them to do, which is purchase. What's really important here is your estimated action rate, right? This estimated action rate is the likelihood of the customer or the Facebook user actually doing what you want them to do. So what does that mean in normal terms that you and I can understand? It means how likely are they to convert, right? Facebook takes into consideration your conversion rate, how many people are looking on your page, and how many people are actually going through it and actually purchasing. So after they've kind of gathered some data, they can reliably determine through machine learning this estimated action rate. So it's super important to make sure that, before you run any ads, make sure that, your ad and your page is optimized so that it will kind of developed to the point where you're going to kind of set up the highest chance of success or highest probability of success when you run ads, right? Because if you don't, then your estimated action rate gets affected, and it's going to overall affect your bid in the auction, right? And you're going to lose. What happens is, if you lose auctions, you're going to get lower quality customers that don't want to buy. This is where you get your inconsistencies of your ads. Like, why is it working so well now? But it's not working now, blah, blah, blah. Like, this is the reason why, guys. So then the next thing that's super important in this is the actual customer experience, the user experience, because Facebook, guys, is a platform that really kind of emphasizes the user experience of the Facebook user. Because if Facebook users aren't having a great experience on Facebook, then they don't have a business, right? They can't monetize and do all these things. So the user value kind of comes through with a few things. It will come through with your cost per click, depending on how likely are they to click, right, and engage with your ad. It will also be through your click-through rate, right? Like what's the percentage of people that actually click through to your ad. Then it will also can take into consideration your bounce rates. With bounce rates, like, okay, how fast is your page loading? Is it providing a good experience? Because if Facebook gives you a customer or gives you a potential customer and they click on your ad, but your page just loads so slowly and they just click off, Facebook's going to see that and they'll be like, we trusted you and you kind of ruined it. So that's super important as well, guys. The user experience, right? Like, that's kind of where everything kind of has to come together. So the ad has to be, super relevant to them as well, and all that kinds of stuff. And I'm going to show you guys in this video right here how you can make your ad super relevant to your audience, because effectively, guys, it's going to affect your overall bid in the auction, and we want this total value to be as high as possible. Does that make sense? So I just wanted to really kind of recap that and understand. Hope you guys get an understanding and have a read of this as well, and try to develop an understanding of how the algorithm works, because it's super important, and I just haven't seen many people talk about it. And I wish I knew this when I was really advertising. Okay, guys, so now what we're going to do is we're going to jump into the ad account, and we're going to go ahead and play around with my advertising strategy, what works for me in 2021, right? And how this is going to help you to kind of set up stability and really understand what works, what doesn't work, and where you can make tweaks to really improve your overall advertising ability. Okay, guys, so we are in my ad account right now, and what we're going to do is go ahead and walk you through exactly how to set this up. So generally, there are 3 tiers, right? So you have your campaign, right, which is kind of like the overarching, the structure. Then the next thing that you have is your ad sets. So the first thing here is going to set the events. It's going to set your objective for what you want to achieve with this campaign. So generally speaking, we want to have purchase conversions, and we'll go through that in a bit. So after you've got your ad sets, guys, this is where you do your targeting. Like who do you want to target? Who do you want to see the ad, and how much do you want to spend if you're using ad set optimization? The next part is your ads, which is where you kind of set up your creatives, your actual ad itself. So the ad image or video, then you've got your headline, and then you've also got your description, which is the ad copy. Okay, so let's go ahead and create it together. So we're gonna head and hit this green button right here, hit create, and again, guys, we want to set up conversions. So now here we go. We're going to name the campaign. Generally, the way I like to kind of set this up is the following. So I set this up as 1 because this is the first touch point that our audience will have with us. Okay, so we'll go cold, because cold in marketing terms, guys, is cold audience means people who have they don't understand who you are, they're not aware of the problem, they're just completely cold. Okay, so we'll go cold, and then we do ABO. So there are 2 sets of budget optimization. So you can set the budget at the campaign level, which is CBO, campaign budget optimization. And then the second one is you can actually set the budget at the ad set level, which is ad set budget optimization. We're going to be going with ABO today because that's kind of for beginners, it's the easiest thing to understand and just to kind of get the wheels rolling. So we're going to hit ABO. Then we want to be specific with the product. So let's just do custom dog case, right? I generally like to go a little bit deeper. There's an attribution window, and I like to go with 1-day click. So I go ahead and do that. And just before that, I also want to go and select the country. Okay, so like US. So we'll go ahead and do that. Hit continue, and it's going to do its magic. So guys, this is going to be a little bit daunting, but kind of bear with me, follow through, and I'm going to make it super simple. So this window on the right is going to pop out, and you're going to see here that you can select the different levels, right? So this is the campaign level, the ad set level, and then the ad level, right? So we're going to go into the ad set level now, and this is where we do our targeting, right? The product that I'm kind of using as a dummy is a custom iPhone case that you can print, your dog's picture on. And so with the targeting, what we want to name this is just purely the interest. So we want to let's go dogs, right? Now it's going to show conversion event location, website, yes. Now the pixel, right? You want to select your pixel. Now conversion events right here. You want to go ahead and find purchase. We always want to go for purchase at the very beginning, because what you select here, guys, determines what kind of people are going to see your ad. So if you go ahead and select, view content or page view or, engagement or all these kinds of things, right? Pretty much what you're telling Facebook is, hey, I want all those tire kickers, those people who come into my store and they're just going to look around. They're not going to really do anything. They're just checking things out, but they're not going to buy. Now, unless you have a specific strategy, we can talk about that later, but I always go for purchase right off the get-go, because it's going to provide you with the people who are going to purchase, or who Facebook deems as those people who are most likely to purchase. Okay, so you're going to go ahead here and you're going to see some errors due to the iOS 14 thing, because I'm using a pixel that I didn't verify, but you would have verified already. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about the dynamic creative for now. Don't worry about offer. Now what we want to go, and what I like to do is for daily budget, I want to set it at about $10. Okay. Now, depending on where you're advertising, the timing is kind of important. If you're advertising in multiple countries like, US, Australia, Canada, UK, Germany, all these kinds of things, and your supplier can allow that to happen, then that's fine. What you want to do is select the next day and just hit 12. And then I just like to do 01 a.m. So from midnight, this ad is going to start running. Okay, so go ahead and do that. Don't worry too much about all of this. Ad scheduling, you don't need to worry. So location, right? So let's say, for example, I'm doing Australia, Canada, United States, United Kingdom. All right, awesome. So we're going to do the big 4. So we've done that. Age, you can kind of leave. Gender, you can also kind of leave. You would only change gender right at the beginning, right? Your product is so specific to one gender that it just doesn't make sense to show it to the other one. Now with this detail targeting, this is kind of where we do our targeting, right? Right away, just tick off this detailed targeting expansion because I want to know which ad set or which audience is working, right? What this button does is allows Facebook to expand the audience pool in order to get you extra conversions. And right now, when you're trying to find out which group of people on Facebook brings you the most money, you don't really want that because it kind of pollutes the data that you're collecting. Okay, so for now, we're gonna go ahead and select dogs. We're gonna have 130 million. Generally speaking, you kind of want to go as a good rule of thumb, like between 1 to 5 million. So this one might be a little bit too broad for me. So what I might do, and actually, you know what? I'm just gonna leave it for now. And we're just gonna keep going. Now, placements. This is super important because there are so many placements that Facebook can actually show your ad on. But what we have to understand is right at the beginning, most of them don't really bring that much return back for us, and that's what I've found from testing. Maybe later you can play around with automatic placements, but for now, for this purpose, I'm going to go ahead and select off your audience network and your messenger. So from here you're going to see all these other ones. We only want the Facebook news feed and the Instagram feed to be selected, so just go ahead and deselect everything else like so. Okay, awesome. So now go ahead and play around with this. You can select, who sees your ad in terms of like if they're using iPhones or Android or if they're connected to Wi-Fi, but it's not that important right now. Okay, we've got into the optimizations. Optimization for ad delivery always has to be for conversions. We always want conversions, guys. The other thing is for your attribution setting is when will Facebook give you that purchase, as in when will Facebook attribute that purchase? Was it someone who saw the ad on day 1 but then they actually purchased on day 7? That kind of like, depending on your product, it kind of leaves too much room for error. And for me, I always like to do 1 day click because on Facebook we're using direct response marketing, right? We're trying to stop people from where they're at, and we're going to kind of compel to their desires, their needs, or their wants, and we're going to make them jump off Facebook's platform and make that purchase right away. Okay, so 1 day click. Now, after you've done that, hit next. Okay, so here guys, we're going to go into your ad and we're going to play around with the creatives. So let's do, generally I like to have videos, so video 1, and you just want to be able to differentiate because generally when we go into the ad section, I like to have 2 to 3 ads at most, and I always like to have a video. So the reason why I like to have a video is because it allows you later to open up new audiences that you can target. Facebook is a super complex system, and if you have videos, it just allows you to have that additional ammunition. Remember, we always talk about giving Facebook as much power, as much ability to find people who are going to buy our product. Okay, so video 1. Now select your Facebook page and your Instagram account, and you can just hit use selected page. That's fine, no problem at all. Now in the ad setup, we're going to hit create ad. So from here, what we want to do is we want to add media. Go down here, don't worry about this at the top for now. Go to add media, and we want to add a video. So I've already uploaded one of the videos out there. I went out and purchased one from ecom viral ads for like $50 or something like that, and let's just have a watch together. Awesome. So you always want to have some kind of hook, like something to really kind of catch their attention, and you always want to have your captions as well, because naturally when people are scrolling on the Facebook feed, and you can test it out yourself, videos never play their audio until you actually engage and click on it. That's why the imagery and the captions has to be on point. Okay, so we're going to hit done here. Now, what we want to do is we want to also have a thumbnail, because again, when the people are scrolling, the video is just not going to be automatically playing, right? So you need to have something that kind of jumps out at you. So go ahead and hit edit video, and we're going to go hit thumbnail, manual, upload, and we're going to have an image already, right? So something that kind of sticks out, contrasting colors, or something that kind of looks a bit off, works really well as a thumbnail. Here we go. So primary text, this is where the ad copy is going to be present, right? So with this, generally when I do ad copy, I always like to kind of follow with the AIDA principle. So attention, interest, desire, and action, right? So the first 2 lines, honestly, are probably the most important when you're looking at ad copy. So let's just have a look. So I'm kind of playing on the fact that I know that a lot of people are working from home, but as kind of the world economy starts to improve, a lot of offices are reopening and asking employees to come back. So the sentence here is something that, like, for pet lovers, this is a serious problem. And like, because I love pets and I have a few pets as well, if I was to ever to be forced to go back to the office, I would literally be upset. I can't be with them, right? So that's something that's super attractive. Then the next thing is so it's kind of like the desire, talking about like why they should be interested about this, right? So that is your interest, like why should they be interested in going ahead and kind of giving you their time of day to read this ad, right? So interest. Then the desire is to kind of like really want it, right? And then the best thing that I generally like to do here is like a review. So like some kind of testimonial, and you just go here, hit emoji, and just type in like star. And then you can do like, I love this phone case so much. It's the cutest thing ever, right? So you kind of want to add something, and then you just like, get yours here, right click again, emoji, finger pointing to the right, and then you put your URL, right? Okay. Sweet. So now that we've got that done, we've got our ad copy. Now we want to do our headline. So generally the headline is extremely important, but there's a hierarchy, right? So your ad creative is at the top. That's the first thing, and that's the video that you're seeing right now. The ad creative is the most important thing to kind of get your potential customers to stop scrolling, right? The next important thing is your headline, right? Next, so this one, we want to kind of have it like short, impactful, kind of punchy, kind of convince them that, hey, you want to look at this. I'm just going to throw that in there. Not too sure if that's, if I had more time, I would be able to do this. Description, you don't really need to worry about this. Generally, people in the past would put in like five stars, and then just say rated 5 out of 5, but Facebook actually doesn't like this anymore. So I actually, honestly, kind of put something like satisfaction guaranteed. Right, nothing too crazy. So what we're going to go down is website, and then here, website URL. So just put in your website URL, the one that you've verified. Super important, because you're going to see it down here at the web events. Now, if you've set it up correctly, you're going to see your web URL, your shop URL, your domain, and you can just drop down and select it right there. So I'm going to go ahead and select OK. Now, what I want you guys to do is to duplicate this 2 times. So we're going to hit, I'm just going to do this again, highlight it, so tick it, duplicate, number of copies twice. So now on the window that kind of comes from the right, here you want to change these, because you want to make sure that everything is unique. You need to understand which ad works the best, and it's super simple, guys. If you have one video, just go ahead and change the first 3 seconds or the first 4 seconds of the ad. Kind of shuffle things around. That's how you can determine which ad works the best for your audience. So then video, also go to video 3. All right, awesome. So now you're gonna have 3 different videos. Now, as a general rule of thumb, what I like to do is I like to publish the post and then actually use an existing post. Now, this is a little bit different, and no one else talks about this, but a lot of the Facebook learning, guys, is held at the ad level. So it's super important to actually use the existing post function. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you how to do that with one, and you can just repeat this and go ahead and do it. What you need to first do is go ahead and publish it. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and publish it. Okay, so it's published, right? So once you've done that, kind of just go ahead and refresh the page, because Facebook is buggy. Now, in this section here, you're going to notice that it's gone turned in blue. It's gone turned blue. Now what that means, it's published, and what I want you guys to do is hit this button right here. And you want to go ahead and see Facebook post with comments. Now, once this is done, you kind of want to go ahead, copy the ad post ID. So after the word posts, it's going to have a string of numbers. So go ahead and do that, right click it, copy, go back here to the previous tab. I'm going to go ahead and close that and use existing post. Okay. So from here, what you're going to want to do is hit this post ID, Control V or Command V, like so, and you're done. Now from here, hit publish. And now all of the engagement is all going to be kept on here, because what we're going to do, guys, is we're not going to just show it to the dog's audience, right? We're going to send it out to as many audience as we can, but we want that ad to be the same, so that, you know, whenever people comment or all of that kind of stuff, all the engagement remains on the ad. And if this ad is a winner, then we can just continue to scale it because we know which ad is working. And because Facebook knows that it converts, your total overall value in the Facebook auction is going to be higher. Therefore, it's going to allow you to outbid your audiences. So publish it for all of your other ads here, right? I'm just going to quickly turn this off because I've actually hit publish, so it's actually scheduled, right? So guys, you're going to see here that it's going to split the $10 between those three per day, depending on your daily budget, like how much you're willing to test on a daily basis. That's going to determine how many ad sets you can use, right? So generally for beginners, anywhere between probably up to $50 is safe. So we want to go ahead and duplicate that. Hit 4, hit duplicate. All right, so now we've got 4 different ad sets. Now what we need to go ahead and do is we need to go into each one of them, and we need to make sure that the targeting is correctly allocated. Up here, you're going to see here that since all are highlighted right now, if I make changes to it, like let's say I'm going to change it to cats, like so, it's going to change all of them. So you really want to make sure that you're intentional about this and select on each one. And let's make this cats. And we're going to go down again, just to the detailed targeting. So you're going to see here dogs because we've duplicated it. Click off the detailed targeting expansion, type in cats, okay, like so, and cats is cats. The next one, we want to go ahead and we want to type in, like, let's say French Bulldog. Go down here, unselect it, type in French Bulldog, like so. You see, so this one's a little bit better of an audience, right? It's got 8 million people, right? So it's a little bit better than having 132 million. And if you guys kind of get confused, you don't really know which audience is relevant, if you've just selected one interest that is relevant to you or to your brand, then what you can do is you go ahead and hit suggestions, right? From the suggestions tab, it's going to throw out all of these potential interests that you can target. I'm going to go ahead and do that because I can't think. I'm going to hit dog training. Hit dog training, everything else is fine, and we are good. Okay, I'm gonna go make sure I change this dog training because I know, so I know what's working. And for the last one, again, I can't think of another one, so I'm gonna go ahead and select any, like pet food. Now click off detailed targeting expansion. Let's go up here, pet food. Now you're done, guys. Now you want to make sure you go ahead and select them all. Your time should be the same, right? Because it's just been duplicated. Everything else is the same. So just have a look over it, make sure everything's good, and then you should be good to go. Hit publish. So now that it's done, guys, this is going to be scheduled and it's going to start running from when you told Facebook to start running it. Now, what's super important here is, okay, now Facebook is going to start spending your money, right? I told you guys in my previous videos that Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg, as soon as everything kind of starts running, they're ruthless. Okay, so that's why it's super important to, before you even get to this point, you've kind of understood who your audience is, what kind of messaging is super important, what kind of wording, what kind of slang or jargon do they use, and how can you use that to your advantage. All right, so I'm going to link that video right here and go ahead and remember and go do that, because remember how important congruence is. If you go back to the part in this video where I talk about the Facebook auction, to really kind of push up that user experience or the estimated action rate, the ad needs to be relevant for them, and the page needs to be relevant for your audience, because at the end of the day we are trying to provide value to people. So that's why that congruence idea is so important. So now that I've got that out of the way, what's super important is Facebook's going to start spending your money, and they're going to be ruthless about it, and you're going to be spending $50 a day, and it can be quite costly. You want to kind of leave this to kind of run for about 2-3 days. That's generally what people say, but I like to take a little bit more of a data-based approach, right? Because it's money and I don't want you to waste your money. Now I'm going to show you a spreadsheet. Okay, what I've opened up here, guys, is my testing spreadsheet. So this is kind of where you can figure out your North Star, like how you're going to understand how much you should be spending, how much you want to be spending in order to be profitable, and how much when you want to stop running ads. I'm going to walk you through it right now. But generally speaking, you put your product cost here, your shipping cost here, and your selling price. Once this is done, it's going to throw out for me my break-even point. The BEP is your break-even point, which means how much you can spend on Facebook to get one purchase in order to break even, as in make no money, lose no money. That's the amount. So it's $40 for this scenario, right? And then my minimum return on ad spend, which is ROAS, is 1.88. Now what this 1.88 represents is when I'm running advertising, my return on ad spend needs to be at least 1.88 or higher for me to know that ad set or that ad is not losing me any money. So generally, as a target, I like to hit target ROASs of under 1.8. And that just allows for higher chances of success when you're running advertising on Facebook. Because when you have minimum ROASs of like 2, 2.5, 3, what you're pretty much saying is that you need to maintain a return of 2, 3, 4, and that's very difficult. To be honest, it is a very, very difficult feat. I like to have it at as low of a ROAS as possible, so 1.88 is good for me. It's a little bit high, but it is okay. Now the spreadsheet is also going to go ahead and calculate your target cost per purchase. That's what this is. And it's going to have two different sections. One is going to be your 30%, so what will allow you to have a gross profit of 30% of $17. So what that means is if you spend $17.50 to get one purchase, you're going to have a 30% gross profit. Super important, guys, because we're doing business. We don't want to run advertising in order to break even. No, we want to make sure that we have profit. So that's kind of your target. If you're happy with the 20% target, that's cool too. Your target cost per purchase based on the numbers above is $25. So you want to be aiming to spend about $25 per purchase. So now there's the next one is your add to cart target. Now generally what I found in my stores, and every store is different, right, is my add to cart rate, the cost is always about half of what I pay for a purchase. So what I've gone and done here is divided it by 2. You're going to see here in the template, the formula section up there. This number here is 2 times target cost per purchase. Now this is super important because it kind of gives you an understanding of when to let Facebook run your ad and then when to turn it off, okay? On the first day. This is kind of what I look for. My CPC, my cost per click. If you're just targeting the US, right, I always want that to be under 1.5. Any higher than that, and it's just becoming too expensive, and it's going to start really significantly affecting your profit. The next thing that I want is my click-through rate to be at least 1 to 2% when you're testing. The higher the click-through rate, the more people are going through it. So generally the higher the better. 1 is the absolute minimum, guys. If you have any lower than that, you really need to work on that first 3 seconds of the ad or the thumbnail that you uploaded to Facebook. These are my general rules, right? And if your ad set gets purchases right away, like from the first day, a very, very strong sign, guys, because right now we're testing, okay? If you get a purchase straight away, things are good, but be mindful that it could be a fluke. That just does happen sometimes. The next thing is, if an ad set spends up to your target cost per purchase, and that's up to 30% or 20% or 10%. You can change this formula if you like, and it doesn't get an add to cart or an initiate checkout. I generally like to kill it because at that point, I'm confident that, hey, look, it's already spent 50% of the budget. I'm going to look at my other metrics, my cost per click and my click-through rate, and also my CPM to see, hey, look, is it good, is it bad? And if those are okay, if it's spent up to that point, I'm not super confident that it's going to purchase. It's going to push through and get a purchase, because generally that's just what I found on my own businesses. But you can kind of use this as a guide and then make up your own assumptions, hypotheses, and test it yourself. So the next one is if an ad set spends up to 2 times your target cost per purchase, and in this case it's going to be your $35 without a sale, go ahead and just turn off that ad. Because what this allows you to do, guys, is it's going to allow you to test and to reduce the money that you're going to be wasting. We're going to let it go up to $35. At that point, you can still get a purchase because of delayed attribution and all that kinds of stuff. But at that point, you can't be confident that you're going to make money on it. And if you do make money, it's going to be $5, right? It's not going to be much. So at that point, I'm just like, hey, look, I give up on this one. I'm going to throw in the towel and turn it off. Alright, so guys, this is generally the way I've been running my Facebook ads. It's a very beginner-friendly set of calculations that you can apply into your own business. And this is so important, because without this, guys, you're not going to be able to know when to turn on or off ads, right? And that's super important, because we've had people, when I was first getting started and I've talked about my dropshipping mistakes, my mentor would just be like, you just leave the ad on. Like, come on, what is that? I want to know exactly why I leave something on, and why am I spending my money? Where is it going? When can I be confident in it, and when can I be not confident? And I just need to, kind of like throw in the towel at that point. Because Facebook, guys, is, if you've done everything else correctly in terms of, your advertising, your messages and the congruency that, you have, Facebook is a data-driven game. Right? It's all based on data and all based on numbers. So I know it's a little bit daunting, but it's going to save you a lot of money in the long run. Okay guys, so now that you've understood how to set up your ads, how to set up your campaign structure, how to set up, your targeting, and now you understand, okay, when should I turn off ads, when should I keep on ads, and all these kinds of things, I want to help you set up the view, because without the proper view, guys, you're not going to be able to get the information really quickly and make decisions. So what we want to go ahead and do is hit columns, customize columns. Now at this point, guys, you're going to see all these buttons. I want you to go ahead and click off all of them, and I'm going to go ahead and follow along with you and set these up. The first thing that we want to have is generally your delivery. Okay. Delivery. Now budget. So you just type it in and then click it. Okay. Amount spent. This is important because you want to know how much you're spending. Then you want your reach, because you want to know how many people is your ad reaching, how many impressions, how many times is your ad being delivered. Then you want your purchase. So when you type in purchase, guys, you want to hit this button here, total, right? And it's going to split up all these things. Now you can just click them all off, that's fine. And then, but we also want to have your value. So here again, it's going to click all of them off, because we want to know how much value is Facebook bringing back here. The next thing that you want is your cost per purchase, right? Which is your cost here. And then you want your return on ad spend. Hit total again, and you can just tick that off. Now, at this point, what you want to go ahead and you want to go down the funnel, right? So you want to go have checkouts, again, total, and click these off. And you also want your cost, okay? Now you want to go to your add to cart, total again, select all of these off, your cost, okay? Sweet. Now we want to kind of go into your vanity metrics, right? These are going to be your cost per clicks, your click-through rates, and your CPMs. So we're going to have your CPC, and just go cost per link click, right? CTR, which is for click-through rate. I generally like to have either your outbound click-through rate, because this is going to be the percentage of times people saw your ad and performed an outbound click, so they left the Facebook platform. Okay, so that's good. Then you want to have, your CPM. So the CPM, guys, is your cost per 1,000 impressions. Now, generally speaking, depending on what niche you're in, it's going to change. But what I've found is for us, we like to be hovering around like the 10 to 15 range. Now, pretty much that's where you're going to be good. You're going to hit save as preset and just type in something like, e-com funnel. Something like that, so you can kind of understand and follow back with it. And I'll show you why this is important. So I'm going to hit apply. Okay, so sometimes, right, when you go into your ads manager, you're going to have this column set to like performance at default, right? So your website, your view site is going to be all like jacked. So that's why we want to set it as a preset. You want to set it as e-com funnel. It's going to make it super clean to understand and really help you to get the data that you need. What happens now? You've got 5 adsets. You're spending $50 a day. You can increase that if your budget is higher. You're going to be able to find out based on your testing which adsets are working, which adsets are not working. So generally speaking, you go back and you have a look at which ones have gotten purchases. You have a look at the ROAS, right? And you want to make sure that ROAS is higher than the break-even ROAS that we calculated before, right? So we had 1.88. So anything that was over 1.88, we want to leave on. Anything that's below, you kind of want to dive a little bit deeper. And we can go into that in the next video about how to, spend a little bit more, do more, right? If you got into the point where, let's say hypothetically, you only have 2 ad sets continuing to work. So let's say, for example, cats and pet food are the ones that are working. And dog training, French Bulldog, and dogs, they have all overspent. They've all spent, more than your target cost per purchase, 2 times your target cost per purchase, and just hasn't got a sale. So they've spent $35, hasn't got you a sale. What you need to do now is find 3 new audiences and you allow your business to continue spending $50 a day to find new audiences out there that will not only see your ad but also kind of resonate with it and come and bring you purchases. So you can't really give up too early on this phase, guys. I don't know if you guys have seen that meme where it's that person's kind of digging this tunnel, right? And he's walking back. Right? He's walking back because he hasn't seen that gold yet. He's kind of just given up. That's kind of how you have to think about it here. You just need to be willing to, on Facebook, to test. Like that is the theory and that is the mantra that you need to have, because all you need is 1 audience to really start getting profitable. You stack on 2, 3, 4, 5 audiences that are all starting to be profitable. That's how you start to get, the 30, 40%, 50% profit margins, guys. So what I want to do is show you exactly how you can find more audiences. So go ahead from the ones that have won, right? These 2 have shown you, potential. Now, what you want to go ahead and do is go duplicate, right? And let's say your budget is, still $50. So we're going to duplicate it 3 more times because we turned off 3. We're going to turn back on 3. Again, make sure you select each individual one and don't get too caught up on, the targeting, because what you can do is go down to the bottom and remember you have the suggestions tab, guys. Animal rescue group, right? Done that. Animal rescue group. Go to the top, replace it, and that's your new ad set. The next one after that is go down again, and we want to test something like litter box. Okay, so if cats worked, litter box should work too, theoretically. Or that's my theory. Then that's done. You want to go ahead and let's go Sphinx cat. Okay, I don't know why cats would work if we're using a custom dog thing, but whatever. Okay, so we've done that. Now what we want to do is we want to hit control and select all of them. After you've done that, also make sure that this detailed targeting expansion is off. So go ahead and click these off like so. Okay, now you want to go ahead and select them all and hit publish. So now this is going to go ahead and you want to set the time to be the same. Run at midnight if you're going across multiple time zones. By the way, the midnight thing, what that does is allows Facebook to not overspend, right? You've got a $10 budget. So what you want to do is you want to set the time to be the first minute, like you want to start it in the first minute of that day. So it has 24 hours to kind of spend the money to find you these people who are going to potentially purchase. Guys, you just continue to do that. We can talk, and pretty much what you're doing here, right, is you're horizontally scaling. Let's say, for example, all 5 in your initial were profitable and it's working really, really well. You've done an amazing job, getting your ad done, your targeting, your page done, all of that. It's very congruent and your customers love it. Then you want to continue to do the same thing. Maybe reinvest those profits that you've made, do those 3 like we've done here, and just let them all run. So what you're doing is horizontally scaling, and what that means is you're just spreading out your net further and further out. It's not going too deep, but it's going wider and wider into different pockets of audiences. Now, vertical scaling, guys, is when you found these audiences, you can actually start to increase the spend to go deeper into each of those audience pockets. So guys, that's pretty much everything that you need to know to understand how to set up your Facebook ads, how to test, know how to turn off or keep on, how to test new audiences, how to make sure that with all this iOS changes that everything is done properly. You want to make sure that with Facebook you want to do everything correctly, because look, the game is getting harder. Facebook is making it harder for us, but that doesn't mean we give up. It's such a big pool of people that target. So I hope this helped you guys. I really put a lot of effort into it, and yeah, I'm just very confident that this is probably the most comprehensive Facebook tutorial out there for beginners. Guys, I really hope you had an amazing time. Thank you so much for sticking around with me. I know that it was a long one. Good job on sticking around, and I hope you got some value. So let me know down in the comments below if this helped you, and if you like this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and also hit that notification bell so you know exactly when I'm going to release a new video. I try to release a video every single week, ideally on a Wednesday, but that's all the time that we have for today. I hope you had a good one. I'll see you next time. Catch you later. Bye.